Hey there everyone, narrow gaugers and steel fans alike. So it's been a while since we've done a update video on what we have going on at Youngstown Steel Heritage, so I'll fill you in. So here on the Todd, working on this project, we did get the overhead crane operational. And you can see the hook is on it, and we can run it the entire length of the building. So we've been using it a little bit to facilitate the dismantling of the Todd engine for alignment purposes. So we have the front head off and the piston rod out. And again, as we talked about before, that's so that we can run that piano wire down through this side here as part of the alignment process. We also have to do it on the low pressure side, but the one issue is that we really don't have any way of getting things out of the building. So here's the piston and rod sitting here basically in the way until we can get that out, and that's going to involve pretty much putting a switch in out there and then bring a track in here so we can bring the narrow gauge right into the building, load parts onto cars, and then take them out for storage. So until we can get that track put in, we have to basically not do any more dismantling on the engine. But in the meantime, we've been doing some other work on it. The paint that I originally put on the Flywheel, I basically just sprayed over what was already there, so it's been flaking off, and then you can see where the paint's been flaking off in some areas we didn't even get to. So we're now going through and taking this down to bare metal, and then we'll repaint this with a good quality paint. So I've tried several methods, one of which is using a cutting torch and basically burning the paint off, and that works out all right. But some of this doesn't respond all that well to the cutting torch, so we're using a chemical paint stripper, and that softens it up. Then you can hit it with a wire wheel and take it off. So that's basically this here did yesterday. Put the stripper on and let it do its thing, and then wire wheeled it off. Like this section here has already been softened up by the stripper, so we can go and wire wheel that. And then we'll just keep doing it as we rotate the wheel around until we get the entire thing repainted. And then we're also continuing the needle scaling of the low pressure bed plate here, working our way around to finish up the back half. That's something that didn't get done in 2014. You can see right here, this was done in 2014, and then basically we got sidetracked by the whole narrow gauge project for 10 years, and now we're getting back to finishing this up. All right, so let's take a little walk around at what we have here. Going outside, we're just about ready to get 58 fired up for the season. Last weekend we put the dome lid on, put the saddle tank lid back on, and everything buttoned up. We are ready to do the hydro test on Saturday, and assuming that there aren't any issues with the hydro test, we're gonna go right into firing the locomotive, because in 2 or 3 weekends we start our season of Steam Locomotive Experiences on Sundays. And we're doing the same thing that we did for the last couple of years. Same price, $258, spend a day running the locomotive. If you're interested in participating in that, it's youngstownsteel.org, and then click on operating days, and then the whole list is in there, and you can sign up right then. And hope you come out and do that. We have dates on there for May, June, and July, and we'll see when we get a little bit closer to July if we want to do any in August, because in September we have the narrow gauge convention here, and we've got a lot of work to do, and if we're caught up with our work, then we may do some more dates in August. If not, then we're going to spend those weekends just getting track work done and other things that we have to get done for the convention. So everything is pretty decent on the locomotive. We really haven't had any real issues to contend with. A couple little things. Basically, she's been running pretty good. So we'll get her fired up and see how she wants to run this year. All right, let's see what else is going on around the yard. So we had a lot of rain here recently, and our little reservoir at the top of the hill was full for a period of time, and we used that opportunity to bring down enough water to completely fill the tank car. So the tank car is filled to the top, and the sidle tank and the locomotive is full, and then these 3 totes are also full, and that's what we're going to use for doing the hydro test. So we're good on water. I just went out yesterday and picked up 3.5 tons of coal, so our coal bin is full, and thanks to a couple of our members who are quite generous with firewood, we have enough firewood to probably last us all year for kindling, for starting the fire. So we're good on materials right now. So it's just a matter of getting up and running again. So this is the 62, and where we left off last year, we were just about ready to do a steam test on this when the weather turned cold, and then we decided to just winterize it instead. So at some point this spring, we're going to do a steam test on this, plumb in the injectors and all the piping needed to operate it, and then fire it up and see how she does making steam. I think we'll also do another hydro test before that, of course. It still needs a smoke box front welded on, and I think what we're going to do at some point, because I have to figure out how to get that front driver set freed up. So we're going to take the boiler off the frame, and then with it off, try to get that driver set knocked down and all that freed up. And while it's off the frame, we'll probably just take it to a shop and then have them weld the new ring up front, so that we can get it done by a shop in ideal conditions and not out here in the field trying to put it on. And then finish cleaning up the running gear, move the driver tires out, required I think 3/8 inch per tire, and then put it back together so that she can operate. Hopefully we'll have all that done by the convention. If so, we may be able to run her back and forth a little bit here. We're not going to have a cab. I'm not planning on building a cab for this anytime soon. We just want to have it in operational condition, and then we'll work on doing some of the other work on it later on. And then we're also going to be working on 57 this year. Basically same deal. This is the one that needs 7 tubes installed, so we're going to get those tubes installed, and I don't think we have to take this one off the running gear, but I don't know. Haven't thought that far along yet, but still we need to move the driver tires out one way or another. And of course we have the cab for it, so we're going to put the cab back on and also do a steam test on this and get it operational. So we'll at least get the boilers done this year. I don't know how far we're going to get with the running gear. It all depends on how many volunteer hours we can get over the summer to work on them. But the goal is to have these 2 operational. Now that may not mean that we're running them up and down the main line all the time, but it's always better to preserve something in an operational status than it is just static. So we'll have them here, run them, properly lay them up and preserve them in operational condition. Now, unfortunately for the 60, she's pretty much just going to sit there. I'm going to paint it and put the dome lid back on and seal it up and give it proper preservative. But 60 is pretty much just going to be sitting here as a basically a bumper at the end of the track. We found some issues in the boiler last year, especially in the in this ring here at the bottom of the dome, where water had gotten in over the years and sat in that little groove there and rotted it away. So you can definitely see the thickness loss. So I'm a little leery about actually, running this. Of course, we have a spare boiler, but really, I mean, we'll have 3 operational locomotives. Really, it's just, don't really need a 4th. And this one can basically represent the way that they looked when we got them. And so not going to do much of any changes to this other than painting and cleaning it up and properly preserving it, and she'll just sit here on display. So that's basically the plan for this year. We'll see how far we get. So again, there will not be any public operating days. We're not doing that anymore because we don't particularly want to get a professional engineer here to redesign their passenger car, and that's basically what we have to do. We have to get a professional engineer to take that passenger car, draw it up, and then put his stamp on it that it's safe for passengers and in compliance with all of the applicable amusement park regulations. And I have no idea what that even is. And you know what? We're so busy, I don't have time to even start the process. It may be simple, it may be tens of thousands of dollars, but it's like, there's so much other stuff to do here. So what we're going to be doing instead is focusing on the Steam Locomotive Experiences, and we're still going to be running, we're still going to be using a car, but these will be members only operating sessions. So if you want to come out and ride the train, go to the website, become a member, and then you'll be notified when we have our members only operating sessions, and come on out and you can ride the train all day. It's like a season pass. So that's the way we have to do it to comply with the regulations, and so that's what we're going to do. Not a big deal, really. To tell you the truth, running those three months last year every Saturday, that was the only thing that we did, because all the volunteers came out. They, that was their weekly volunteerism that they could do, and we spent it all running trains. So over the 3 months, no work got done around here. No improvements were made. Nothing was built or anything, because we're just busy running. And then I spent all week just fixing things and making sure we had coal and getting water. And then we'd run the train for the day and make like $400. Like, wow, that's a lot of work for not a lot of reward, and we're not actually getting anything done. So yeah, this isn't really working out all that well. So the email from the Department of Agriculture actually was a blessing in disguise, because I was no longer obligated to keep running these public trains and just wearing ourselves out in the process. So doing members only operating days means that we can come out, we can run the trains, we can do whatever we want to do, we can build a track, work on equipment, and not have that pressure of the parking lot being full and people showing up constantly to go up and down the track. So that's good for us, actually. Yeah, let's take a little look up in here and see how full this tank car is. Oh yeah, yep, she's full pretty much to the top. maybe I can throw a couple more totes of water in there, but that's pretty good. All right, everyone. Well, that is the update for now. Hopefully we'll get some video on over the weekend of 58 running. And again, if you want to come out here, ride the train, participate, go to youngstownsteel.org, become a member of the Youngstown Steel Heritage Museum, and that is your ticket to ride. So, oh, one last thing. So you see this black here. This is not black paint. I'm sure many of you have heard of the rust converter, which is basically tannic acid. It goes on like as a white liquid, and then it takes the rust on the surface and converts it into this black material, which is fairly fairly decent as a corrosion preventative. So I've been going around with our members, actually have been going around painting the 3 locomotives with it, and you can throw an extra coat on there too if the rust starts to go through. But when it comes time to do any painting, that makes a great primer, and it's real easy to go on. It's a lot easier than actual primer, and you don't really have to prep it much. You just knock the loose rust off and paint. So it's a great time saver for preserving this stuff. And I think some other organizations has equipment out there that's rusting away should probably invest in some of that stuff and at least slow the corrosion down. All right, everyone, take care. I'll talk with you later.